Well, what is going on, everybody? Welcome into the Hump Day Hotline on the Buffalo Fanatics Multicast Network. I am your host, the voice of the Hump Day Hotline, Joe Miller, and you can find me on Twitter at Joe Miller Wired. And that guy right there looks a lot like me. Dude, I'm feeling it tonight. I just put out on Twitter that I need the Mafia in the house, and I need you guys to bring your A game. I got to turn my volume down. I'm a little bit hot in the microphone and the headphones here. So what is up? What's going on? Welcome, as I said, into the Hump Day Hotline. So good to have you guys. Brought to you by Manscaped. Your Buffalo Bills are 11-3, and I'm here to tell you that the king is dead. The king is dead. The New England Patriots are eliminated from the playoffs. The Buffalo Bills have control of the number 2 seed in the NFL AFC side of the playoffs. And I don't know if you noticed. I don't know if you counted. And if I need to play it again, I will. But the Buffalo Bills scored 9 touchdowns, 9 of them in that football game against the Denver Broncos. The Bills scored 9 times, 9 touchdowns. Now, obviously, not all 9 of them counted, but holy crap, 9 touchdowns the Bills scored, which takes us right to Josh Allen in the microphone on live on Sunday or Saturday, saying, how many times do we have to score? Like, what's it going to take? But I just want to take a moment to welcome everybody into the show. Got a lot of good stuff. As always, tonight, what we're going to do this Christmas Eve, before the Buffalo Bills also play on primetime football against the New England Patriots on Monday night, we are going to put the Denver Broncos game to bed. So we're going to take the first half hour of the show. We're going to put the Broncos game to bed finally. I've got some takes. I've got some comments. I want to hear what you guys think, what your takeaways are about the Bills, the Buffalo Bills being the AFC Eastern Division champions officially. And then Clay Troya is going to join me from the Buffalo Counterpoint podcast, as he always does, for the second half of the show at 9:30. And we're going to preview the Bills versus the Patriots. We're going to talk all about that. And I need you guys tonight. So I need you. So we've got a little over 100 people in here already. So what I need you to do, first of all, is jump on that like button, whatever platform you are watching on. Hump that like, get our metrics up. Also, do me a favor and share this. So if you're watching on Twitter, if you're watching on Facebook, share it. If you're watching on YouTube, copy the link up at the top of the screen, drop it into Facebook, drop it into Twitter, and share it. And let's get some more Bills Mafia up in here as soon as we possibly can. Dude, I'm on fire tonight. Like, I don't know. I would love to know. So let's start this way tonight. Oh, wait, one last thing. You get to run the show. If this is the first, I know I saw some people in here already that said this is their first live show with me or their first live show in general. You control the content for the most part. And what that means is you've got a comment section. The best place for you to be to comment is either in Facebook, but primarily on YouTube. There's a great community of people on YouTube. I see all the regulars are up in the show tonight. You guys are already in the house. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys being here. I'm going to do my best. The comments are going to roll hot and heavy. They're going to be fast, and I'm going to do my best. If I don't get to you, the easiest way to get my attention is to click that super chat button. What's up, Stephen Campione? I see you. Just click the super chat button. It'll come up highlighted, and super chatters get priority. So if you need my attention, if you really want your comment or your question read, get my attention by super chatting. Now, let's jump to this. I want to know, for all the fans here, so we're all Bills Mafia for the most part. There might be some Patriots up in here, Patriot fans. I want to know how you feel. Young, old, male, female, wherever you land, I want to know when you hear the Buffalo Bills are AFC East champions, how does that make you feel? Where does that put you? Where does that put your heart? Where does that put your emotion? It's been a long time. We have been the doormats of the AFC East for a very, very long time, too long. My daughter McKenna was completely surprised when that graphic rolled on Saturday, and she saw that the Indianapolis Colts had been AFC East champions before, like sooner than the Buffalo Bills had, because my daughter's 13, and she's like, the Colts? And I had to explain to her that the Colts used to be in the East, which is crazy. We've already got our first super chat. Eric, what's up, my brother? Oh, I'm going to have to get up over it. Welcome into the show. Thank you for the super chat. Eric, you're the man. Joe, I joined the United States Marine Corps in 1995. So watching this team win the AFC East this year after 25 years. So on our anniversary, Buffalo Support BF apparel is on me tonight. Go Bills and happy holidays to Bills Mafia. FYI, Poyer the Pro Bowl snub. Hashtag boho mojo, hashtag oorah. So this is what we're going to do. I got to drop this thing. Dude, thank you so much for the super chat. You were the man. We're going to talk Pro Bowl snubs, and we're going to talk Pro Bowl players, but I want to do that when Clay joins us. So if you want to talk Pro Bowlers and who got snubbed and Poyer and everything else, stick around. But thank you so much, Eric, for the super chat. And thank you for your service, my man. Thank you for your service to this country. We want to recognize all the veterans and everybody that's currently active military. Jeff King, thanks for the super chat. Did any of you get a chance to see Tasker's commercial for the playoffs? Oh my gosh, dude, come on. Like, I have just the ending snippet recorded on my phone. Let me see if I can find it here. And I literally was sending it around to every single person that I knew. So let me... Oh, I got to back it up.
So we'll see you in Buffalo in January. Be ready. Might be chilly.
Come on now, right? Like, you couldn't have, whatever they're doing down there at One Bills Drive from a creative standpoint, from that video, putting that video together to today, the 12 Days of Christmas with Brandon Beane dressed up as Cousin Eddie. They're crushing it right now. Like, so Michelle is crushing it over there at One Bills Drive. And dude, it just, that whole ending scene, that commercial encompassed, right? Like, wholly enveloped everything that we feel as Bills Mafia. Like, the cold, we were shunned for the cold for 20 years. Nobody wants to come to Buffalo. It's Siberia and it's this and it's that. And nobody wants to play in that, meanwhile, all these other like northern weather cities, like New England and Green Bay and Philadelphia and New York and like all these outdoor stadiums, Chicago, like nobody cares about those. But for some reason, Buffalo is like the worst place in the world to play football because it snows here a little bit. So to know that like the road to the playoffs or the road to the Super Bowl is potentially going to go through Buffalo again, at least up until the AFC Championship game, and to hear Steve Tasker talk like that, like, we'll see you in January in Buffalo. Be ready. It might get a little chilly or it might get chilly. Man, dude, come on, Jeff. Come on, Jeff. Talk to me about it, right? I mean, so yeah. So so we're talking about how you guys are feeling. And I want to get into some of these. So Ronald Gary, thank you for being a part of the show. I was 1 year old the last time the Bills won the division. I've never seen the Bills be considered an elite team until this year. Well, get ready because this is not a fluke. Ronald, this is what I'm going to tell you, bro. This team is going to be good for a long time. This is not just a flash in the pan season where they just kind of got lucky and kind of put some. This isn't a why not us type of a season, right? We've always said, why not us? It won't once we got into the playoffs. Why can't it be us? That's not this team this year. This team is good. Lone Wolf, welcome to the show. I've waited 32 years for the Bills to do this again. I'm relieved, bro. I'm right there with you, dude. So, Dave, I'm 43. Feel amazing. Waited a while for this. We're all right there, dude. Right there. Yes, Philip, that was an amazing hype video. Adam Shepard, man, it brings me back to when I was cheating for the Bills in my friend's house on a little, I think cheering for the Bills in my friend's house on a little 13-inch TV when they played the Cowboys. Good time. I was 9. Yeah, dude. Let's go Bills. London Stackhouse. Let's go Bills forever. 1995 Jordan Poyer, 21-23 Micah Hyde. The Power Rangers secondary. Man, it's just Bills Mafia is feeling it. Bills Mafia is feeling it. And there's things about this football game, this Denver game that was very exciting. I talked about it in my preview show. So for me to not talk about the Overreaction podcast, which I am the host of, would be me doing a disservice to myself. For those of you that are not aware, those of you that do not consume podcasts yet, you should. And the reason that you should is because there's a lot of great Buffalo Bills content out there, alternative content that I know is difficult to get to. And what I mean by that is like literally you have to get your phone out. You have to make sure it's synced to your car. You have to navigate to your podcast app. And then you have to like search for whatever podcast you want to listen to versus just turning on the radio. I know it's more challenging, but there's a lot of great Buffalo Bills content, alternative content out there from podcasters. I'm one of them. All that to say this, you should subscribe to the Overreaction Sports Podcast that I'm the host of. But I talked in my preview show about the fact that this is a game that Bills Mafia should be confident in going into this Denver Broncos game. And I get it. I know how we all feel. I am one of you. Like, I am right there with you. I've been stomped into the turf by this team for 20 years. And it feels like and has felt like, even when we were good, that there was a chance, or just we were waiting for the moment for basically the second shoe to drop, and we weren't going to be good anymore. And what I was trying to convey in my Saturday preview show was this is the team now where we can be confident, much like those 90s teams. The teams that they should beat, they're going to beat. The teams that they should be competitive against, they're going to be competitive against. The teams that they should dismantle, they're going to dismantle. And they did. They took care of business in Denver. That, as much as that game was close early, it was never close. It was like literally the Denver Broncos, Vic Fangio was very much right there with Robert Saleh, who had no idea what to do with Josh Allen. Josh Allen just had him confused, had him befuddled, and Josh Allen was beating him, almost toying with him up and down the field that whole football game. I already told you, the Bills scored 9 touchdowns. If you're late, the Bill in my opener, my show opener, I showed every touchdown the Bills scored. There was 9 of them. 9. Think about that for a second. The Bills scored 9 touchdowns in that football game. They didn't all count, but they scored 9 times. Adrian Marston, welcome to the show. So you gave me a super chat. I appreciate that, but I don't necessarily see your chat. So throw your chat in there, and I'll try to find it and locate it, and then I'll read it. Jeff King, one more time with the super chat. I'm talking to my Irish comrade, lived through the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and now with Bills, can't express how effing pumped I am. Let's freaking go. Dude, I'm right there with you. You know, it's Christmas Eve. The Buffalo Bills are the AFC Eastern Division champions. The Buffalo Bills have a stranglehold on the number 2 seed for the AFC playoff run. If there's not a time to toast and cheers, I don't know what it is. So whatever y'all are drinking at home, if you're not, get a beer, get 2 fingers of something, and this is what I've got. And we're just gonna live it up tonight. We're gonna celebrate, and we're gonna be excited about the Buffalo Bills' next step is sweeping the New England Patriots for the first time in I don't know how long. Somebody Google that for me. Somebody right now Google the last time the Buffalo Bills swept the New England Patriots in a season. Oh, yeah. So I'm a tequila guy, just in case anybody's wondering. If you want to get a Christmas gift for the voice is a tequila guy. That's actually not, I like bourbon. I like a lot of stuff, but tequila is kind of where I'm at. But yeah, Adrian, welcome into the show. Thank you for the super chat. Dolphins beat the Pats by 10. I'd love to see us win by 20. Question, any chance we rest players week 17 if some injuries take place on Monday? So this is a great question, and I want to get into that with Clay as well, because we got some injuries that are kind of light injuries right now. And one of those injuries, or a couple of those injuries, you know, John Brown's coming back, right? So Smoke's coming back. Diggs has a hurt foot. The good news about Diggs's foot being hurt is he did play he played a play or two. He stayed in after he hurt his foot for a little bit, so I don't think it's super serious. Darrell Williams has a groin issue. There was no injury report that came out today. Just so everybody knows, the Bills kind of have a mini bye week because they played on Saturday and then they play again on Monday. So they've got an extended time off, which is nice. Darrell Williams is we don't know where he's at. The good news is, to this point, is what a luxury Ty Nsekhe is. Ty Nsekhe is a very, very, very expensive luxury. However, Ty Nsekhe is going to handle his business out there on the right side, with Darrell Williams potentially being out this week if that happens. Also hurt. Andre Roberts hurt his back. That's why he came out of that football game. It was not because of the fumble. He was in after the fumble, but he hurt his back. There was one more player that got hurt. Oh, Trey. And we haven't heard anything about Trey yet either. It'll be interesting to see if the Bills clinch the number 2 seed, which basically means that right now they have the seed. They're in the number 2 spot in the AFC. If they clinch, if they win, and then a couple things happen that need to happen this weekend, my guess is you will see the starters play for a quarter, maybe 2, just to kind of keep that rhythm and that flow in that football game. And then I would imagine, just like last year against the Jets, the Bills will probably sit some players. So yes, that should be happening. Welcome into the show from Mexico City. Listen, I just got done telling you, Ernesto, that I'm a tequila guy. Like, my family is all about Mexico. Like, that's the place we go on vacation. Ernesto, welcome into the show. I'm a big Bills fan from Mexico City. There's a big Bills mafia down here. As I wrote on Twitter right after the game, we're back, baby. We are back. It is absolutely true. Just want to make sure I'm caught up on all my super chats. So yeah, whatever you're doing, wherever this finds you, I want you to just soak it in. Just take in everything that's going on with this football game. Go back. Like it's Christmas, right? So most of you are either going to be off tomorrow, or you're going to be off for, like, you're going to have some extra time off tomorrow, or you're going to have to work a half day. You're going to have Christmas off. You're going to probably have, obviously, the day after Christmas is Saturday. Go back and just watch the highlight shows. If you type in Buffalo Bills results into Google, just type Buffalo Bills results, you're going to get a bar, like a little bar that shows up. And inside of that's going to be box scores. And inside of every one of those in Google is a YouTube clip of every single Bills game from this season. And they're about 12 minutes long. Every one of you should just go back, because of what we've gone through for the last 20 years. Go back and watch every single highlight clip, even the losses, just to get a feel for what we've gone through and what we have felt and what we've been a part of this season. It's been tremendous and awesome. And I feel like I've been ignoring the chat, so I apologize, everybody. There's 176 people watching this thing. Do me a favor, whatever platform you're watching on, hump that like, jump on it. I'm going to check YouTube real quick. YouTube, I've got 59 likes, so I'm going to need you guys to do better than that. So jump on the like button. Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, wherever you're at, jump on that like button. Also share this thing. And again, if you want to get my attention, the easiest way to do it is right there with a super chat. Eric, welcome back into the show. Can't wait for the Clay Manscaped promo. Clay is if there's a dude that belongs on the Manscaped like payroll, it's Clay. Like I love that kid. Like, that dude has got talent. He's got great insight. He's got a future in this, in my opinion. He's going to go as far as, basically, not his talent takes him, but he's going to go as far as, effectively, his desire, right? His hustle takes him. So Clay's awesome. Clay's my guy. I love Clay. Ernesto with the super chat in pesos, Mexican, 129. I don't know what that amounts to, but I'll take it. I believe that this is a special team, that our time is now, and that we will get to the Super Bowl. Greetings from Mexico City. What's up, my brother? What is up? Our time is now. We will see. So we got a tough game. There's a tough, what do I want to say? The playoff schedule is going to be tough. It's going to be better going through Buffalo. Now, here is the reason, and we're not talking a whole lot about that Broncos game, but that's all right. Here is the reason that the number 2 seed matters. The reason that the number 2 seed matters is because we get the first round home playoff game, second round home playoff game. The AFC Championship game, if the Chiefs make it, we will have to go to Kansas City. However, this is why it's important. If by some chance the Chiefs get bounced in the second round because they get a first round bye, if they get beat by whoever they play, guess what? Whoever beats them has to come to Buffalo, provided the Buffalo Bills are still in it, which means that the road to the Super Bowl goes through Orchard Park. And oh, by the way, we're getting baited by the Buffalo Bills now about it being chilly in Buffalo, and all the stuff going on with Cuomo and the New York State Department of Health, that they're talking about some sort of a demonstration or an experiment of allowing a number of Bills Mafia into the stadium for the playoffs, which I don't know where you stand or where you land, but I think it should have happened anyways. There was no reason. There's been fans in stadiums all over the country, and there have been no reported outbreaks of super spreader events or like COVID outbreaks. It should have been going on since the beginning. I'm a season ticket holder, so believe me when I tell you that I want to be there. I've already opted in for the playoffs. So if somehow I get selected or elected or whatever that word is, I'm there. But it's important that we get the number 2 seed, so which is good. How's everybody doing in the chat? Like I said, I'm not purposely ignoring you guys. You guys are just you guys are all about it and humming. I think Diggs practiced today. Don't mind Nseki filling in. I'm right there with you. I didn't see, normally with this show, I come in with the injury report, or at least from practice today. And it was not posted by the Bills PR. I don't know if it's been posted since I prepped for the show, which was about 7:30, 8 o'clock. But that was when I uploaded all my content, I should say. But we are going to party, or we are partying like it's 1995. Here is what I want to talk about next. And it is related to the Broncos game, which, was, in my opinion, another step in the process, in the progress, in the, in the development of this football team, going out, in prime time on a Saturday. You're the only football game that's playing. You've already proven 2 times before that you're not afraid of the lights. The AFC Eastern Division title is on the line. You're playing against a weak opponent that's not in the playoffs, but would love to play spoiler with you. You go out and you dismantle them. Josh Allen was masterful in that football game. He started out a little bit off. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. He reeled it in and made some magical throws and made some magical plays. This is what I want you to think about when you think about Josh Allen right now. And we've got about 9 minutes or so, 8 minutes before Clay joins us. Josh Allen in his last 3 football games as a Buffalo Bill, so all in primetime. The first one against the 49ers, the second one against the Steelers, where we did not do much in the first half. Josh Allen was actually sub 50% completions in the first half of that Steelers game. And then this game against the Broncos, Josh Allen was 83 of 124 for 68% completions. He had 972 yards, 10 touchdowns total, running and passing, and 1 interception. You want to talk about a guy that potentially, in my opinion, has the ability and should be in the conversation, 1 or 2, because he's doing crazy stuff for the MVP. It should be that guy, in my opinion. So I don't know where you guys are at with him, but for me, I even wonder still if we have seen the ceiling for Josh Allen. Like, have we seen his best yet? I'm not so sure. Yes, the 49ers game was masterful. He played an incredible game in that 49ers game, but I'm not necessarily sure that we've seen, start to finish lights out Josh yet. It's going to be exciting to see kind of how the rest of the season plays out, the playoffs. This is a team that I think is built for pressure. What I mean by that is the NFL set us up very well with all these primetime games at the end of the season to kind of get us ready to be on the national stage. They're not, a season of 1 o'clock games being muddled in the middle with everybody else. And then all of a sudden they're in the playoffs and like the world is watching and it's like, what's going on? Like literally they have been in the spotlight for the last 4 weeks, which has been tremendous. They've got one more coming up and it's great. I agree, Chris. Thank you for being a part of the show. He has not hit his ceiling yet. I'm going to jump into the chats here, or into the comments here real quick. Lone Wolf, I hope Epinesa is good, but if he's not, Epinesa is a cool story because he's kind of growing into his body, right? Long, lanky, strong kid, fast, but he's young. And like as he develops and as he begins to understand the football game and he understands football, he's going to get better. I like what I've seen from him. Here's another one from Joe. Epinesa is going to be a stud. Tomorrow will be the injury report since we don't play till Monday. Thank you, Colin. I appreciate that. That's like I said, normally I have that. What do we got? 6,700 Army of One is the number. I wish it was more like 15 or 20. I'd like to see about 30%. I think they can get in and out of that stadium and social distance more than easily enough in that enormous place to get somewhere between 15 and 20,000 people in there. But I'll take 6,700. I'll take 10. I'll take anything I can get just to get some real, like legit Bills Mafia up in there, because I think the team would feed off it. I think the team would lose their minds if can you even imagine? I've been a season ticket. The season tickets that I own have been in my family since 1974. I've been buying in. I have been buying into them with my father since my grandfather could no longer go to the games since 1997. I go to a lot of football games. I've gone to a lot of football games. I was at the 31-0 game against the Patriots. I was at the Dallas Cowboys Monday Night Football game. I have been there for some electric football games. I was there for the home opener against Denver, Marshawn Lynch's first game as a Buffalo Bill, when they rushed on the field and beat us like with the field goal in the last 6 seconds or 19 seconds or whatever it was. I have seen some crazy, amazing football games. I've seen the crowd tilt in that stadium. I couldn't even imagine what this year would have been like. The Seattle game, right? Like that football game, even the Patriots game, and winning the Patriots game the way that we did with Zimmer popping that ball out. Like when you go through and you think about, the Chargers game, and you think about the games that we have had at home this season and how those games have gone, the Jets game, like I just can't even imagine what it would be like having Bills Mafia in that stadium and watching this team feed off the energy of Bills Mafia. We have been robbed this year, and it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. But yeah, What do we else we got going in here in the comments? Trick says, what I love about Epinesa is that he's got a very high motor. He plays hard. He does. And we've had guys like this here in the past that are a little bit undersized, a little bit lanky. Yes, I'm talking about Aaron Maben. The difference is he has ability. He's got some intangibles that Aaron Maben didn't have. He has the ability to grow as well, and he's going to grow into his frame, which is important. What else we got going on? Don't forget the Rams game. Where was that at? Yes. Yeah. When on the Go Ahead TV, you want to talk about deafening crowd noise, DH? Don't forget the Rams game when we won the Go Ahead TD by Croft. Like, it would have been deafening in that stadium. Clay's joint. He's jumped into the Clay. He's jumped into the backstage area. He's wearing an ugly Christmas sweater, and he has the Buffalo Bills AFC Championship hat. I don't like you right now, Clay. I'm bringing you on early. You're waiting 4 minutes, bro. You're about to show me. By the way, I don't think I'm ever taking this off. So I am 4-0 in the Boho Mojo jersey. I might be the only member of Bills Mafia that has a Corey Bojorquez jersey. It has not been washed, and it's gone from being worn on game day to now being worn about, I don't know, 3-4 times a week. I've worn it pretty much every day this week. So it's not getting taken off and it's not getting washed. So if that makes me gross, I'll take it. But yes, they're already calling for you, bro. I know you can hear me. So the legend of Manscaped himself, you better be ready. You better be primed and ready. We're going to start tonight when you get here, Clay, with the Manscaped read. Oh, that's amazing. So, dude, Boho is killing it. You know, I probably need to take a moment just to come clean. So just so everybody knows, I got, when I was on my podcast last year, the Overreaction Sports podcast, before I got brought in by Fanatics, I was very much anti Corey Bojorquez. I did not understand it. I didn't understand why he was on this team. He was shanking more punts than he was completing. It just wasn't good. They cut Colton Schmidt for what I could see was no reason. And Colton Schmidt, you know, you're talking about a guy that was kind of one of us. He was kind of one of Bill's Mafia. The week after he got cut was the home opener, and the dude showed up and tailgated with us. Like, not me personally, but he was out there tailgating with Bill's Mafia. So I was very much kind of butthurt about the whole thing with Colton Schmidt. And then we come into this season, they bring in some other punters. They brought in Vedvik, they brought in some other guys, and Bojorquez beat him out. And I had a bet with Jay Spence, with my best friend. And Jay Spence said, look, if Bojorquez does good this season, you have to buy a Bojorquez jersey. I was like, bet, I'll take it. And we got to about week 6, and I was like, I see where this is going. So I bought it. I bought me a Chinese knockoff jersey of Corey Bojorquez. He's leading the league right now in punting average, which is incredible. And I'm going to say it again, 4-0. 4-0 since I put this jersey on game days. So I would recommend that every single one of you, there's 200 of you listening to or watching this show, every one of you jump online right now, buy a Corey Bojorquez jersey, because it works. And with that, I think we're just going to go ahead. Oh, wait, I got one more time. Oh, Ryan, what's up, Ryan? Thank you for the super chat. Hump those lights, buddy. Jump on, everybody. Hump those lights. Likes, rather. Lights. Hump those lights. Hump those likes with a K, not with a T. Oh, my gosh. Anyways, one more. What do we got here? Rick says, Arizona game may have cost Josh the MVP. Think about it. Instead of game-winning drive, we got what we got. And the funny part about that, Rick, excuse me, is like that last drive, that 3-minute drive, and that throw that Josh Allen threw to Diggs was a masterful, amazing clutch moment in Bills history. And when the Hail Mary happened and was completed, we all knew that like that was going to be one of the greatest plays in Buffalo Bills history that was going to get forgotten. And it did, which is praising for that jersey. It's not there yet. It's getting there, but it's not there yet. But yeah, so right now, drum roll, please. Everybody, I'm 13 seconds late getting them in. Drum roll, please, for the fan favorite of the Hump Day Hotline, the one, the only, Clay Troya. And I hate it when it does that, when it like blows their faces up like that, but it does it every time. I can't control that part of it. So what's going on, Clay?
Oh, living the dream right now. I couldn't be any happier. I mean, it's Christmas time. The Bills are the division champs. Patriots are eliminated. What more could you possibly ask for?
There's no need to be afraid. Sorry, I'm singing my political Christmas music. I apologize. Do we need politics and Christmas music, right? Like, do we really? Do we really need it?
It doesn't seem like, where's that separation,
War is over if you want it. Really? If I don't want war, it's over? I don't think that's true. So, yeah, whatever. Anyway, so this is what we're going to do. Everybody, you are watching the Hump Day Hotline, which is a Week 16 edition of the Hump Day Hotline, and it has been an amazing journey this season. Like, it has been a lot of fun. We've had a great time all the way through the season, and shout out to Jay Spence, who started the season with me, and shout out to Clay, who has joined me since Jay Spence's departure. And Clay, you have added such an amazing element to this show, even outside of the Manscaped read. So it's not just about the Manscaped read. You have added an amazing element to the show, and I've talked to you offline and told you how much I appreciate you, and just what I feel and my feelings about you, and just the comments that I get from you, or get about you, I should say, on Twitter, and just what you bring. But I just can't believe the season that we have lived through. I literally just told, I don't know if you caught it, I literally just told everybody watching that they need to go back, Google Buffalo Bills results. It'll pop up with a square where they can watch the highlight video from every football game this year, and they should do that. Do you agree? Like, are we in that position now? Like, it's Christmas weekend. Let's reminisce a little bit. Let's watch where we've been.
Yeah, I mean, it's been crazy for me too, just because of my age. I wasn't alive the last time they won the East, and it's been weird just because I grew up on bad Bills football, and that's all I've known until this year. And so it's taken a long time for it to fully set in, especially because I'm naturally a skeptical person, especially when it comes to the history of me watching the Bills. I knew pretty much never to get my hopes up. So it took me a while for it to fully set in, and to, I can still be objective and be extremely confident in this team for the first time in my life. So that is something that I've just never been able to see. And I was listening earlier, and you said it was kind of, maybe it'll be our year. Why not us? And it's so different this year. It's It should be us, and we should be winning these games.
That's right. And I've hashtagged that before in tweets in 18 or 17, 18. So 17 was when McDermott, 17, 18, 19, right? And this is 20, 17 and 19 last year. I hashtagged, why can't it be us? Like, why not us? Why can't we be the team that catches fire as a wild card and puts it together and makes it to the Super Bowl? Why? And that's not us this year. This year, like, the conversations that are being had about the Buffalo Bills right now, to your point, I can be objective, and I can talk about the things that maybe we need to fix, maybe the things that we need to work on, the good things that are happening, but at the same time be excited about the fact that this is a very, very good football team. And it's funny because, like, this is Bills Mafia. This is where we are. This is the PTSD. I'm still nervous about the playoffs. Who are you looking at? I recorded with Pat Moran last night, and Pat Moran is awesome. Very, very good friend of mine. And he hits me with this question. Who do you want to see in the first round? If you're going to rank, who do you want to see? And I'm going to break it down easier for you. So you've got, in my opinion, there's three teams that we're potentially going to see first round of the playoffs. The Miami Dolphins, which has a rookie Hawaiian kid that played college football in Alabama, now plays football in Miami, right? So the Miami Dolphins coming to Buffalo first round. Or the Steelers. And we all know about what the Steelers at this point in time. I mean, the Steelers got beat by a quarterback on Monday Night Football that looked like he was holding in diarrhea. Like, every single time they shot into his helmet, his face mask, he was like, I don't know what was going on with that dude's face, but it was amazing. Or the Colts, who have noodle arm Phillip Rivers, who's going to be a Hall of Fame quarterback, probably not first ballot, but he's going to make the Hall of Fame. But they're a dome team. Frank Reich. I mean, imagine Frank Reich coming into Buffalo and like having to play the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs. Which one of those teams do you want first round of the playoffs?
I know it's hard for me to say. Because I mean, it's kind of Browns or Steelers. Either one could end up in the wild card spot for that division. It just depends how they finish out.
Or the Ravens.
That's right. I forgot about them.
The Steelers have clinched.
Right.
The Browns are close to clinching. They could actually take the division, and the Ravens could pop in if the Dolphins pop out. So I don't want to see the Ravens. The Ravens are the team I don't want to see. Like,
really?
No, I don't want Lamar Jackson running all over Ralph Wilson Stadium in January. Like that's what I don't want. But anyway, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think it's probably. I mean, if we can get the Steelers, I don't know if they're going to be able to drop that low since they've already got 11 wins. I don't know if they can get down to that last spot because we're the top seed for Wild Card Weekend. So
right.
I don't know if we'll be able to get to them. I would love to play them if we could play anybody. But behind that, I think it would probably be the Browns, and that's just because
Wow.
They have their games. They have their games where they're amazing, but they also have their games where they choke a little bit. And also, it would be Baker's. It's big. They didn't make the playoffs last year, did they? The
They
Browns?
did not. No, the 17-year drought. So their drought right now matches
so
ours.
they're still on the drought. So I think it's hard to go in your first playoffs. Young team, young coach, a lot of young guys that have never been in the playoffs before. They don't really understand what that situation is like. And the Bills just did that last year. That was kind of they've got their warm up in the playoffs out of the way and over with. So I think they've got the nerves out of the way for that. I think it would probably be the Browns for me, just because they're such a hot and cold team. And I think without that playoff experience, you're not in your own stadium. And if the Bills do have some fans there, and the young coach too. So I think that's probably the team I'd like to see the most, just because the Colts worry me because their defense is really solid.
Yeah, their defense is solid. It's just the outdoor factor for me. And Pat asked me, and we'll move on. We'll move on to the Patriots here in a second, just for everybody that's commenting. Pat asked me as well, would I prefer the Bills actually play the playoffs in a dome stadium? And I'm like, no, I don't believe in the weather. I don't believe in the weather issue. Like, Josh Allen to me has proven that he can throw in the weather. It was cold and windy in Denver, and he threw the ball over the yard. He's the AFC offensive player for the 4th time this season. The Miami Dolphins game in Miami, it was raining. Like, weather is not an issue for this kid. I think when he has bad games, again, the Titans game, we've talked about it, is a throwaway game for me. When he's had bad games, I don't believe it's because of the weather. I think it's because of other things going on, whether it's execution issues, whether it's something going on inside of him. Sometimes players just have bad games. And when your team relies on the quarterback the way this one does, he is the guy. It's been talked about a lot this week on the shows. The fact that, like, Josh Allen is now at the point where he can will his team to win. He can put the team on his back and will them to win. And if he's off a little bit, we've seen it with other quarterbacks. Other quarterbacks, Drew Brees, Pat Mahomes, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, when they're off a little bit, it makes it a little more challenging for that team to win. But yeah, the Colts don't scare me as much. It's interesting to me that you picked the Browns, because the Browns are the ones that outdoor stadium in Cleveland, the weather will make less or have less of a factor for them, because they'll practice outside all day. They're 2 hours away, so it's like not even a big trip. Like they could catch a bus and be here in 2 hours. Myles Garrett, obviously that, they got wide receivers, the running backs. Baker seems to be finding himself, but yeah. So let's get to some of these super chats real quick, because they're stacking up on me. Benny Wilder says, how many picks for the defense against Cam this weekend? So we're going to jump right into the Patriots. And we might jump around a little bit, but right in the Patriots. How many picks this week for the Bills against Cam?
At least one. Maybe not, because the Bills don't like to get interceptions until the second half, and Cam might be benched by then. So I don't know. I think he'll probably throw at least one, though. He's been off all season. His throwing motion, I don't know. I kind of talked about this in my podcast. It's weird. He's got this weird shoulder thing going on when he cocks the ball back, and I think he's just off a little bit, and I'm not quite sure what it is, but he's always had a little bit of a problem with letting the ball go too early. He's got a very, like, the way that his motion is, he lets go of the ball a little too early, and it tends to sail a little bit. He's had that problem his whole career, really. Even when he had that MVP season with Carolina, we saw that in the Super Bowl that he played. He was throwing the ball high. He was, if he gets a little amped up, he gets a little energy, he'll sail that thing all day. So I think he'll throw.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I said I think he'll throw at least one, maybe two. I don't know. It just depends.
Did you play sports growing up? I know you're young still. Yeah, you did. Did you play baseball or football?
I played baseball till I was 15. I played football till I was 19.
So I played baseball. I played football and baseball, and I played volleyball and whatever. But I played baseball a lot. I played third base, and I played shortstop. So like I can throw all the so I can throw straight over the top. Like, so the third base grab, throw it. I can do sidearm, and there's something weird to me about his range and where he's like. It's one thing to have a compact throw. So when you think like Dustin Johnson in golf, and he has a very compact swing for a guy that's 6'4", 6'5", but the way he throws and where the ball comes from, like it literally comes across his ear versus, being, and I know that Josh worked on it too. Like Josh tried to, to drop his arm a little bit versus coming out from up here. Because when you come out from up here, like sometimes the ball comes out a little early or a little late versus coming out a little bit. And I've worked through all that stuff. Like I said, playing baseball and I actually played softball. I was a weekend warrior playing softball until I was in my mid 30s, and then golf got important. and like your softball swing messes with your golf swing. The way it costs way more money to play golf than it does play softball. So something's got to give. And it's like, well, I'm not playing softball anymore because I want to be good at golf. Anyways, all that to say this, like that, his throwing motion for me is just just weird. Like, I don't know. That's I digress, but yeah,
I think it might be his elbow height might be the issue, because I don't know. I tried to look at first. I thought he was doing the surrender front arm, which you got to be careful with. You don't want that front hand to be too high. You want to keep it low around the face mask area. I thought he was doing that at first, just because of the way he rocks his shoulders a little bit. But I think it's that back elbow is not getting up high enough on his follow through. Because the motion he does, the motion he does, it comes back and he does a really tight elbow twist kind of when he throws it.
But there's no up. There's no up. There's no. It's just it comes straight out of his ear. It's just I don't know, dude.
And that's where the problem is when that elbow is too low, because that motion's fine. A lot of guys do that motion. It's very efficient. You can get a decent amount of power out of it when you do that. But if you drop that elbow down, that pass is not going to work out well. So
it's just weird. So we got a couple cool things here. Ryan Thiel, love you, Ryan Thiel. Thank you so much for being a part of the show, being the super chat. I'll be a Bills fan for 41 years come March. This is great. The day I was born, my uncle wrapped me in a Bills blanket. That's just awesome. Like, I don't even know how to comment to that. Like, I don't have that cool of a story. That's a cool story. So I don't know if you could respond to that, but
I mean, I like the there's some Bills fans that are born these days where there was one that went viral. It was last year, a couple of years ago, where they got gently set through the table. I mean, that's got to be the best story ever. Can you imagine being that person growing up? You're like, I got put through a table at the ripe age of 3 days old. So
Joshua Arnold, thank you so much for the super chat. Only reason why I say I'm nervous about the playoffs is not about how good we are, just about we've been on such a hot streak that going undefeated the rest of the way is a lot to think about. The only thing I have to let you know about going undefeated at this point, 4-0.
Moho Mojo.
Moho Mojo. Like, and I don't know if anybody caught it. If you did not catch it, Bojorquez, Reed Ferguson, and Tyler Bass were on the Rika Report last night. So if you did not catch that show after this one, jump back in and catch the Rika Report from last night, because he actually interviewed those guys for a while last night, which was good. It was a great show. Are you frozen? Are you okay over there?
Oh, I'm good. I was reading comments. I saw someone say that you missed super chats. I was just going back.
I'm getting there.
You're getting them. Yeah.
They stacked up a little bit on me. So it's hard because like there's 230 people in here and I baited them. Like I got on Twitter and I was like, bring your energy tonight. Like don't come here and be flat. Like we're AFC East champs, yo. It's Christmas. Like we got the world like number 2 seed. Like it's like come in here with some energy, and they are like they've got a bunch of energy. Jeff, thank you for being a part of the show. Where else would you rather be than right here, right now? Bills Mafia for life. No comment required. John Livingston, we are getting a little cocky, in my opinion. I don't think so. We'll start. Let's address that right there. I haven't even read the rest of it. We're getting a little cocky, in my opinion. Start there.
Yeah, so I was thinking the same thing. I'm 24 years old. I've been a Bills fan since birth, basically, and I've watched nothing but bad Bills football for my entire life. Mm-hmm. This year, so last year was kind of the first year where I was like, this could be something. That's why this offseason was I decided to look at Josh Allen film. I wanted to see what he was doing, how he was progressing, and things like that. So I took a deeper dive in there, and after going through and really taking a deep dive into the film that he had last year, seeing how he's progressed into this year is honestly insane. He is, the people don't make these kind of jumps. This is not a normal kind of a jump that Josh Allen has made. Right. And the defense is starting to come around. They were weaker in the first half of the season. They're starting to come around and come in not quite to the form that they were last year, but closer to that form, where they are. At this moment, I would say they're a top 10 defense. I don't know what the stats look like for the last few games. They like giving up garbage time stuff too. So I think that they are a top 10 defense at this point. Their stats may say they're in the middle, but that's because of a bad early season.
Very much.
I am a very objective person. I don't like to get cocky about things unless I feel very confident about them. And this is the first time ever that I actually feel like I can be objective and cocky at the same time, because we should be winning these games. Because if you look at the roster, if you look at the way that the Bills have played these other teams, there's nothing that says the Bills should lose this game unless something, drastically wrong happens. If Josh has a bad game, we might not win the game. And that's just the way it goes. If your quarterback has a bad game, you might not win. But if everything goes as planned and everything goes as normal this season, then you win the game easily. Your roster's better. You've played against this team already and beat them once. They have nothing to play for except Monday Night Football against a division rival. And you're coming off, you're the hottest you've been in the last 25 years. I mean, I think we can finally be cocky. It's okay to be cocky now. We're a good team.
Yeah, we haven't even gotten to the questions that I sent you.
I know. I'm sorry. I got excited.
It's not your fault. Like Bill's Mafia is bringing it tonight. Like if we don't get to the comments or the questions that I have for you, the preparation that we've done, that's fine. For me, the cocky piece, cocky is Juju Smith-Schuster dancing on the logo.
Yeah.
That is not this football team. We as fans can get as cocky as we want to get.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for years, and we may have talked about this either last week or the week before, the envy, I talked about it. The envy that I had for other teams, the Ravens, like last year, and like the cockiness that their fans felt. And like, because it felt like every time in the last 20 years that like we had something to talk about, the Buffalo Bill, the wheels would just come off. And it was like, oh. And we just got in this mode of learning, like, yeah, we're just not going to talk. Like, we're just going to be quiet because it's coming. Like, it's going to happen. And that's not true now. This team is different. The front office staff is elite. Yeah. The coaching staff is elite. The quarterback, if he's not elite, he's approaching elite. Like, the offensive line is very good. The running backs have a lot to be desired. In my opinion, we've got two complementary backs. We don't have a number one and a number two. We have two, we've got two, who's a little short guy that played for the Eagles and played for the Saints?
Sproles?
Yes, we've got two Darren Sproles in my slow. We've got two slow Darren Sproles playing running back for this football team. Our wide receiver core is elite. Our defensive backfield outside of Levi Wallace is for the most part elite. Our linebacking core with Milano and Tremaine Edmonds is elite. Like the defensive line is probably a B, right? So I mean, if it's going to be a B, like I'm good with a B. Like you can win football games with a B, but they're finding their own groove. But more than that, they've got desire. They're not satisfied. They're not happy. They're not reading their own press clippings. That, to be honest with you, that Steelers game, I felt when I watched that football team play against the Steelers in the first half, I was like, uh-oh, I think they've been reading the press. I think they've been reading the paper. And then obviously the game turned out, they just needed to make some adjustments. And once they did, they just buried the Steelers. But like literally, I reverted back. I was like, I have a feeling they've been reading their press clippings. They haven't been. Like who was it? It was Beasley. I don't know if you caught the interview after this game with Beasley. They said, did you know, or was there any extra pressure about with the AFC East division title being on the line? And he's like, I didn't even know until after the game. He's like, they handed me the shirt and the hat. And that's when I found out that we had become AFC East champs. And I'm like, how does that happen? Like, how do you not know? But that's the way that they're coached. They're coached one game at a time. Do what you need to do. Allow the games to take care of themselves, and like where the chips fall at the end. And I said before you came on, and I've been talking a long time. I'm sorry. What I love, and we're going to get to the rest of the super chat. What I love about what's going on is they've been set up perfectly by the NFL with the 4 primetime games in a row. Like, and especially with the defenses that they're playing, like the pressure will be off come postseason, because it won't be like, oh my God, we're under the lights for the first time in this year, like they were last year. Well, I guess they had the Steelers game and the Thanksgiving game, but you know what I'm saying? Like they're going to be very well tuned for prime time coming into the playoffs. So I don't think cocky is the answer. John, I super appreciate the super chat. Like I love where you're at, but I want to read the rest of it. We are going against arguably the greatest coach in NFL history. That is true. Josh has struggled against Bill Belichick, minus a great play from Zimmer. We may lose that first game. Talk about that, and I've got a response as well. So talk about going against Belichick in this football game, because this is very much Patriots related.
And one thing just to add on to the first part, we can be cocky because they're not. They're going to take the game seriously no matter what, so we as fans can be cocky. People were saying that in the chat, and that's a great point. Right. But moving on to Bill Belichick, Josh has struggled a little bit. I think he's played 3 games against Belichick. 4 games now at this point, I think, including the one earlier this season, and he has struggled a little bit. The best game he ever had against Bill Belichick was in New England last year. He played his best game against Belichick, against the Patriots, to that point. He was throwing the ball all over the place. He had a couple of great throws. One great throw to Knox down the sideline. The one where John Brown, cooked Stephon Gilmore. It was a perfect pass down the field to him that game. He was throwing the ball really well that game with a good amount of touch, which was also something we didn't really see a lot from him last year as well. So, and honestly, I think it was mostly mental. You're going up against Bill Belichick. You know that, as a Buffalo Bill, that this is the team and this is the coach that has been dominating the division for so many years. And I think there is a little bit of that fear factor that's added to it where it's, well, yeah, these guys are the guys, they've been at the top for so long. And I think it's, it does get in your head a little bit. Now that they've beat them, they're eliminated from the playoffs. I don't think that it's going to be that difficult of a game just because they're a better team. They really are a better team. And I don't know how you can scheme up against Josh Allen at a consistent level. I think if Josh Allen is playing well, it's going to be very hard to beat them. One of the only ways that you can beat the Bills and Josh Allen at this point is if the defense collapses or if Josh Allen collapses. Yep. And even still, if it's only one or the other, you still might lose the game if Josh Allen is at the top of his game, if the defense collapses. So I don't think it matters that much that it's Bill Belichick. He is a great coach, but the Bills have played plenty of great defensive-minded coaches so far this season, and they blew those guys up.
I think I got all the super chats, by the way. I listened to every
I went back and I was checking while you were talking.
Yes, they were stacking up, but we were having a conversation. You guys just got to let us flow. Just we're going to get to it. Because to me, Bills Mafia, you are the most important part of this show. Like, I know that there's a lot of monologue shows out there. There's a lot of great content out there about the Buffalo Bills, whether it's on Fanatics or not. Just so you guys know, to me, you guys are the most important part of the show. I will not miss it. And if I do, I'll get to it. But yes, I do let them stack sometimes just because we're having good conversation. I want to follow up with this to your point. Josh Allen and this offense is playing different football right now than they were the first time they played the Patriots. And that was one of the questions. So let's do that. Let's jump into some of the questions that I had for you as far as if I can jump over to them, and I got to get to my notes. Which is right here. And the one that I want to ask is, do you think the Bills... No. So I wanted to start at the top. Where the heck is the question?
Same game plan? Are you talking about, do you think the Patriots are going to use the same game plan, or the Bills want to use the same game plan?
Do you think the Bills are going to use the same game plan? So there's two parts to this question. Are the Patriots going to come out and give us 6 defensive backs against? Gilmore was out last game. He's out this game. That was actually the first question. Do you think he's done as a Patriot? Let's start there. Gilmore is done for the season. Do you think he's done as a Patriot?
I think so. They were shopping him at the trade deadline. I think it's rebuild time over there in New England. They're ready to get rid of anyone that is costing them too much money. Gilmore's one of those guys where you're not going to win right now. So, why waste your money on this guy? Get rid of that, get some picks, build up for the future. And I think he's probably done.
I agree. So Vic, here's the problem. There's 300 people watching. And there's like half of those people are commenting. You guys are important, but there's we can't respond to every single chat or every single comment. There's a great deal of community that's inside of the chat areas. So you guys talking to each other, and just so everybody knows, I jump on the Reeker Report. I jump on, the Bills guys. What are they? The Air Raid Allen guys.
Air Raid Hour. Yeah.
The Air Raid Hour. I jump on with the Chop Up and Jay Spence. I jump on with Matt Perino. I jump on with the Cover One guys. I jump on with everybody else just to be a part of the chat. There's only so much that we can respond to. So Vic, I apologize to you. Believe me, if I could get to all of them, I would, but we would be on here for about 3.5 hours, and 90 minutes. We're only supposed to be on an hour. We go 90 minutes every week. It's tough. And I'm the only one driving, just so everybody knows, Clay he's riding along. So
it's great. I don't have to do anything but answer your questions. It's wonderful.
Exactly. So with that, second question. Last time we played the Patriots, they rolled out 6 defensive backs against us. Mm-hmm. And in their minds, it sort of worked. And what I mean by that is they had the ball and they were driving down to win the football game. So the Patriots are probably thinking to themselves, look, we rolled out 6 defensive backs. Josh Allen didn't throw. They tried to run, and that kept us in the game. almost what we tried to do against the Chiefs, which it was a 6-point game in that Chiefs game as well. Well, we're just going to like make it down and dirty. We're going to make the game go fast. We're going to limit possessions. So we're going to like give them the opportunity to run and keep Josh Allen from throwing on us. Do you think or suspect that they will try the same thing because in their mind it worked, or do you see them with a different approach this week?
I think they might do the same thing, honestly. Like I said, it's hard to stop Josh Allen, and the best way to do it is put as many guys out there on the secondary and make them run the ball. I think the run game is better than it was earlier in the season, the first time that they played them. So I don't know if it's going to work, but it worked. It effectively did its job last time, and that was don't let Josh Allen win the game, make somebody else win the game.
Right.
And that's an effective strategy.
Right.
And that's really what every team should be doing, is saying we are going to do everything we can to make it, to show that we don't want Josh Allen to pass the ball. We want to stop the pass as much as we can. And, you know, Bill Belichick's a smart guy. He's probably going to come out with that same game plan because nothing else has worked against Josh Allen. And I know a couple people have said it in the chat here about how well he's done against top defenses. I got some of the numbers. The New England has the number 6 overall passing defense right now.
I saw that today.
Yep. The Broncos are number 10. The Chargers are number 7. The Niners are number 4. The Steelers are number 2. And the Rams are number 1. So
wait. So last time, this is important, the last time the Buffalo Bills swept the New England Patriots was 1999. So not only are we partying like it's 1995, this weekend we might get to party like it's 1999. Thank you, Nick. You the man.
But yes, so and the Rams have only given up 15 touchdowns in the air all season. Josh Allen scored 4 of those, so he's got 27% of all touchdowns scored in the air against the Rams this season. So I mean, I don't think it matters really who he goes up against unless they come out with the crazy game plan, like probably Belichick will, and like he did before, where it was let's make them run. We're just going to put every defensive back that we have on the roster out on the field and make them run the ball. That's the only way that you can slow Josh Allen down, is just keep the ball out of his hands.
I'm sorry, I'm giggling. Come on. Anyways, so it's true. Elliot, you know I love you. So sorry, that was probably inappropriate. Anyway, who on this defense is there really to fear outside of the scheme? To me, there's no one on the McCourty brothers. Great, right? Whatever. The Patriots have always done a very good job of putting together a scheme to beat their opponent, right? Outside of no, we're going to beat you because we've got Myles Garrett or we've got Aaron Donald. Like, they have never had like those guys. Yes, Gilmore he's not Revis Island, but he's Stephon Gilmore, and Gilmore has played better as a Patriot than he ever did as a Buffalo Bill, in my opinion. But it's the scheme that we're worried about, right? Not necessarily the players. Would you agree with that?
More so the scheme than the players, but J.C. Jackson's still a stud. Is he playing? I don't know what's going on with him and Belichick. He's on the field, right? He played last week. I mean, he's a stud. He's a really good corner. I don't think you could. He's got 8 interceptions on the season. I mean, it can't all be with the scheme. We saw last week he picked off Tua. It was a throw to the end zone. It was just a great play. It was a bad throw. He shouldn't have thrown it, but he still did a good job. He broke on the ball. He made the catch. He did his job to as well as he could have. And he Josh threw him an interception earlier. That was a bad throw. It was a miscommunication between him and Diggs on where they thought Diggs was going to end up. Josh thought it was somewhere else. So I mean, I think he is a good corner. He should have made the Pro Bowl if Bill didn't not allow him to, which I don't get that either. But
what does that mean? Break that down for me, because was it you that said that or somebody said that on Twitter that Bill pulled his ballot, and it's like, how can the head coach pull the Pro Bowl ballot for somebody?
I have no idea, and I'm surprised. There must be nothing in his contract about Pro Bowls then, because a lot of these guys get bonuses if they make the Pro Bowl. So I can't imagine.
Allen and Tremaine, yep,
right. I can't imagine that if you've got any language in your contract about a Pro Bowl that you can just pull the guy's name. That's like literally just stealing money from the guy. So I can't imagine that was the case. I didn't know you could do that, to be honest. It's kind of weird to me.
A little strange. And just so everybody knows, so there's 253. It's been bouncing between 250 and 270, 275 across all platforms. I try to tell everybody this all the time. If you're watching on Facebook or Periscope, the community built like the 90% of everybody is basically on YouTube. And that's where like this thing kind of gets a kind of a mind of its own. And where like a lot of Bills Mafia is there. There's a lot of just regulars there and people chat and they talk about side conversations, even based off of what we're talking about. And it's really kind of cool to be a part of. So if you're watching on Facebook or on Periscope or Twitter, don't be afraid to jump over to YouTube. So I love this. Scott Blakely would love to see the Dolphins get destroyed. They are so delusional and giving no credit to the Bills. The best part about this is you were around, I think, right? So it was, I don't, it may have been the bridge between when Spence left and you came in where the Dolphin fans were like up in here.
Yes.
Big.
Yeah.
And once we beat them, they just vanished. Like they were calling us delusional. And it's just like, bro.
Yeah, I think it was once Tua got benched, we didn't see them again.
Yeah, right,
which
right.
Was nice.
It was
Tua, by the way, only had 145 and an interception, no touchdowns against the Patriots last week.
And if anybody needs ammunition, Tua has now done something that Josh Allen has never done in 3 years, which is thrown an interception in the red zone. So that's all you got to say. If you want to shut up a Dolphin fan, just let him know that the Josh Allen has never thrown an interception in the red. He's never turned the ball over in the red zone. So do you think the Bills are going to work the same game plan as last time and limit the pass, or do you think they trust Josh Allen? So this goes back to the defense thing. Like, so are they going to roll out 6 defensive backs? And if they do, we now are in a world, whereas before, so when the Bills played the Patriots the first time, Josh Allen was still hurt. He was still reeling a little bit from his left shoulder being hurt against the Raiders. And the Bills took advantage of the run that the Patriots were allowing them to get. But this offense, to me, and I've been preaching it, I've been pounding the table for 4, 5, 6 weeks. This is a pass-first offense. Get Josh Allen in a rhythm. Let him do what Josh Allen does. I hate to say Josh Allen cook because it's let Russ cook. It's not let Josh cook. We need to come up with our own thing. But get Josh Allen in a rhythm. Do you think that regardless, are we in a space, this is how I want to ask this question. Are we in a space where regardless of what the Patriots do, we're going to do what we do? And is that what we see this weekend, or is it going to be an ugly run-first football game on both sides, kind of boring, smash-mouth football, yada, yada, yada?
I think Bill Belichick might be the only guy where you might have to adjust your offensive game plan to what he's doing.
Right.
That's not true. Mike Tomlin's the same way. The Bills had to adjust against the Steelers. We saw them in the first half struggle, and then they came out in the second half and they figured out what they were able to do successfully. So that could end up being something that we see in the Patriots game as well, because if they run out that same game plan, if they do, it's going to have a different wrinkle to it. Bill Belichick's not going to come out with the same game plan against the same team twice. So I think if they don't put 6 guys out there, you pass the ball immediately. You go right to your pass game. If they give you a window to pass the ball, if they give you that opportunity, even just with their personnel that's on the field, you got to take it and run with it as far as you can go, as far as that defense lets you before they force you to start running the ball. Because at some point, that's what they're going to try to do is keep the ball out of Josh Allen's hands. So I think it really depends on what the game plan is for this one. I think they are going to try and come out firing just because they're so hot right now. They've got a ton of momentum behind them. You know, Josh Allen's got a bunch of confidence right now. He's playing the best football of his career. I think you got to go out there and say, well, let's just see what we can do. You know, this is our game. Let's see if we can dictate the pace and make Belichick respond to what we have to do.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, which is, you know, it's hard to imagine that that's the case because it's Bill Belichick, but if they can go in there and dictate the pace of the game, that'll be the most confirmation we've gotten all season. There should be no more doubters available at that point.
That's the outside of, and I said it earlier, the next step for this football game is to sweep the Patriots. We haven't done it since 1999. And clearly 2001 is when the Patriots became the Patriots, right? That's when 2000, when Tom Brady took over, or was it 99? Whatever, around that same, it was 2000, I think. And then we beat them it was 03, 01, 03. So 01 is when he won his first Super Bowl. That's when the Patriots became the Patriots, yada, yada, yada. All that to say this. For me, I have been saying since preseason, we have the talent on this roster just to line up and beat the guy across the line of scrimmage, even before the game plan. You know what? We have a game plan. We've prepared. We've done our homework. However, regardless of the game plan, I'm going to kick your ass because I can. And that's literally this roster. I love that point. Like, can we dictate to the Patriots. We are in a different world if the Buffalo Bills come out on Monday Night Football against the Patriots, who have, oh man, the amount of times they've put us against the Patriots on prime time, Sunday night, Monday night. I don't know if there's a Thursday night in there or not.
Painful memories in
and they put a 50 burger on us, or the McKelvin game, or whatever. If the Bills come out and they dictate to the Patriots, no. This isn't about you. This is about us. And like we do to them, what they've done to us, my God, like I don't even know what to tell people. So we need to have an intervention for Zach. His son is 7 years old and he's a Finns fan. Like, I don't know how that happened. And the hard part, Zach, my heart goes out to you because my daughter's 13 and she is a rabid Buffalo Bills fan, like huge Buffalo Bills fan. The hard part for you, Zach, is the fact that the Dolphins are going to be good. Like this isn't a situation where the Dolphins are going to suck. So it's like they're going to like give in. And like my little brother, Ohio, like most of his life was spent in Ohio, and like in his high school years he became a Michigan fan. His father, my stepdad, was an OSU fan. Everybody in Columbus is an OSU fan, so he kind of did the whole I'm going to be opposite and I'm going to like the other guys, and he became a Michigan fan. It didn't take long for him to be like, those guys suck, and like they got their butts kicked all the time, specifically by the Buckeyes, and now he's a Buckeye fan. This is probably not going to happen for you, Zach, because the Dolphins are probably, if Tua is decent, I don't think he's going to be Josh Allen, but if Tua is decent, the Dolphins are probably going to be good for a long time. So it just is what it is. So
yeah, they got a great coach over there too. Now Brian Flores is great. I was excited when Darnold and Allen both got drafted because I have friends that are Jets fans, and I was like, this is awesome. We're going to have a great rivalry for years to come.
Right.
That didn't happen, but now we might have that same deal with the Dolphins, which is going to be exciting because that's who it should be, really, is the Dolphins to have that rivalry with.
Yeah. I don't know what I did, but I'll take it.
Take it any way it comes.
Take it any way it comes. Yeah. So we already talked a little bit about Cam Newton and his throwing motion and the fact that he just does not look right. I was talking with Jay Spence, actually on the phone. We were just chatting because we chat almost every day. That's what best friends do, right? He looks like he's lost almost all of his passion and zeal for the football game, like for football. Besides the fact that he just doesn't look like he can play, like there's problems there. Is this a situation where the Bills shut down the run and force Cam to beat them like we saw with Denver, or do the Bills just go out there and kind of like let them do whatever they're going to do, knowing that we can kind of stop them regardless?
I think it's got to be a similar game plan that you ran against Denver because it was so effective. I mean, they stopped the run and they stopped the deep pass.
Well, They didn't. They rushed for 140 yards. So
did they rush for that many?
Yeah, it was 140. But that was also with Drew Lock having, I think, 20 or 30.
Yeah. That's interesting. I don't know. I mean,
it didn't hurt them though. It didn't hurt the Bills.
Right. I think the game plan you got to come out with is stop the run. They're a run first team. You know, the Patriots are a run first football team, pass second. They can put together a pretty good run game, but they can't really ever put together a good pass game. I think they've done it once this year, and that was in like week 2. So they're not a team that can effectively pass the ball. They only pass when they need to. So what you want to do is stop the run early, get yourself a nice lead, and then just stop the pass the rest of the game, which should be easy because Jacoby Myers is the number 1 wide receiver over there, and you know, Cam Newton's not playing good football right now. So it should be a simple game plan. Just stop the run early, score some points yourself. It's easy from there out.
He has to be the weirdest stat quarterback I've ever seen because like they win 45-0 against the Chargers. He has 60 yards passing, 60 yards rushing. Then there's other games where he's had 300-yard game. Like I think he's got like a 288 or 300-yard game this season passing.
Yep.
When you watch him throw, he's not effective. He's not efficient. And it's just like, I don't know. He's not a wild card because a wild card can beat you. It's just odd. Like his game is just weird. And I don't know that, like, I don't know if as much as he called out, which was cringeworthy to me because it's so not the Patriots, as much as he called out other people on that team for not getting it yet. There's a lot of young guys here that just aren't getting it. That's just not what the Patriots do. As much as that was weird, I'm not sure that like they know what to do with him. It's very much like I would not be surprised if we see Jarrett Stidham this weekend. Like,
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe we see Cam in the first half, but I think they're going to shut him down pretty easy. I think we might see a healthy amount of Stidham.
Yeah, for sure. McMatty, thanks for the super chat. Thanks for being part of the show. Appreciate you, brother. No one wants a piece of this team right now. That is true. Imagine if we played the Titans and Chiefs today instead of week 5 and 6, crushing people. The Titans game does not count. I don't care what anybody says. The Bills were preparing for the Titans and the Chiefs at the very same time. The NFL told them if they have another positive case, that game is postponed or whatever. They did. The NFL didn't postpone it. Like the NFL reneged on that whole entire situation and then just screwed the Bills. But yes, to your point, I couldn't imagine if this was a normal season, what the Bills record would be right now. Right? I mean, it would be interesting to see. Eric with the super chat. Bills lock up the 2 seed with the Bills W. Tennessee loses at Green Bay and Pittsburgh lost against Indianapolis. Well, Pittsburgh's going to lose at Indianapolis. That's a given. And if I'm picking Tennessee over Green Bay, as much as the NFC is inferior to me this year, when you look at the talent in the AFC, I think Green Bay probably beats Tennessee because I'm just not a believer in Tennessee. Do we keep the momentum going versus Miami or rest for a bye week against week 17? I've already answered this question. I'm going to let you answer it this time.
Yeah. So this week, obviously keep your starters in there. Well, we got a game to win to get that number 2 seed secured. I do think Pittsburgh's going to lose. I do think Green Bay is probably going to win. I think the Green Bay Tennessee game is probably going to be close just because they can run and pass the ball pretty effectively over there in Tennessee. I think that when they want to, they can play good football.
Sure.
But I do think Green Bay wins that game. So if we lock it up, you sit your guys. You give them the start, you give them a couple snaps, and then you take them out. You give Josh Allen maybe a drive, and I want him throwing 60 yards on 2 plays for that drive, and then you take him out. Give him a couple bomb balls. Let's see if
no
it
boots,
works.
no naked boots.
See if we can get a little bit of a lead before we put the backups in. But it should be Matt Barkley that game. If you secure the 2 seed already, it should be the backup corners. Put Isaiah McKenzie back at corner. I don't care what you do. But we should be resting our guys, especially since we could be playing the Dolphins again in the wild card weekend.
Next weekend.
So if that's the case, you do not want to give away anything. You don't want your starters to be in that game. You want them to go in and kind of beat the shit out of your backups and go in with a little bit of false confidence and then be like, okay, it's going to be completely different now. And we're going to, wake you up a little bit. So I think, if it's against the Dolphins, if you've got that 2 seed, you sit your guys, no question, easy answer.
I'm going to spotlight this question, but I don't want to ask this question yet. So this is the real Chris Jenke, in case anybody's on Twitter. The question that I want to ask you is this regarding that Dolphins football game. We got it. We're going to, and I literally just thought about this right now. So this isn't something that I've had tucked away or notes that I've got for a show. Literally, when you were talking, I thought about this. With Jake Fromm on this roster, and we have no idea what Jake Fromm brings to the table outside of whatever they're doing in practice, if anything, because he is COVID restricted. So he's the guy that they're basically putting on an island by himself, just in case Allen and Barkley end up with COVID. We have a guy. So it was the Broncos, right? So it's not a Broncos situation where it's like, hey, guess what? Isaiah McKenzie's playing quarterback for this football team. So in my opinion, where are the Bills at in trying to find out what in the hell Matt Barkley actually brings to the table? Because every moment we've seen of Matt Barkley outside of the Jets game last year where he put 40 on him, it's been really uninspiring. It's been like, can this kid even play football? Is there a chance that Barkley gets that whole game?
He might. I don't know. It kind of depends. You'd have to see how he's doing. Can't imagine it'd be very good against a very good Miami Dolphins defense and Dolphins secondary.
Would you want to see him there?
Would you want?
It's for next. It's for next year, right? I mean, it's literally
whenever his contract's up, he's going to be gone.
I love the conversations that I had with Jay Spence and I had with other people and shows I was on. What's the biggest hole on this offensive or on this roster? What's the biggest? Is it linebacker? Because Tremaine was hurt and Milano was hurt, and the defense wasn't playing well, and what's the biggest hole? And I'm like, the biggest hole on this football team is backup quarterback. If Josh Allen gets hurt for 3 games, that's 3 L's in a row, which screams MVP. If Josh Allen's hurt, the Bills aren't winning football games. I just think they've got to find out what they've got in Matt Barkley. And I love Matt Barkley. I love his Twitter. I love his Instagram. I love the dude he is. I love the man. I love the fact that he loves Buffalo. But I need a guy that if I need him to win 2 or 3 games, he can. And I'm just not sure.
I don't know if Jake Fromm's that guy either, to be honest. But I think it kind of depends. if Jake Fromm's cheaper and Matt Barkley's contract is up, I don't know how you could justify keeping Matt Barkley just because he's there for morale.
Right.
If you like him that much, tell him to retire and become a coach. I think that'd be a best case scenario because I like Matt Barkley. I would like him to stay in Buffalo, but I don't think we should be paying him as a backup quarterback if he is not effective in that role. So yeah, I don't know. Do I think we're going to see him, and do I want to see him? Week 17, yeah, absolutely. I'd love to see him out on the field there, see what he can do. I mean, he really only played like one snap this year, and he got hit by an unblocked Joey Bosa, so he got screwed there. But yeah, I don't know. I think whenever his contract's up, we'll probably see him leave the team.
All I thought was like when that happened was like, man, is he sleeping with that guy's wife? Like the offensive guard's wife? Like
what did he do to Darrell Williams, man?
Here you go. Like you'd give him the fast lane. So I'm going to answer this one because I answered it early today. Are you concerned about the injury to Darrell Williams? Groin injuries are no joke. But Bills Mafia has made a huge point of pointing out how much money Trent Murphy costs this football team. $8, $9, $10 million a year, whatever it is. The other guy that costs this football team $10 million a year is Ty Nsekhe. Like Ty Nsekhe has a huge price tag. And he is a luxury to have on this football team because of this reason. The Buffalo Bills offensive line, in my opinion, regardless of what Darrell Williams' groin looks like or how long this injury lasts, whether it's 1 week, no weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, Ty Nsekhe is a chip that you have. He's a wild card that you get to play for $10 million a year. That is just a luxury that because the Bills manage their cap well, they get to have this kid on the side. Not kid, he's 36 or 37. He's an older dude. But when Darrell Williams went out of this football game, Ty Nsekhe almost played better, which brings up a whole nother conversation with all the problems they've had on the offensive line. The fact that they just keep Ty on the sideline. Like, no, we're just going to keep you on the bench. Well, I might be the best tackle on the team. We know.
I mean, and I think that goes back on his age. He's there to do he's doing right now exactly what he is on this team to do, and that is back up the tackle position. Because Darrell Williams has been playing great. He's been playing very well this entire year. I think Deion Dawkins also a great tackle. So, he was. That's a good point. Yeah. Anyway, the tackles are great, and you know. Darrell Williams has been playing great. Now that he's gone down, you put in Ty Nsekhe to do what he's exactly there to do. He's an older guy, so you don't really want him in there every game because he probably has a better chance of getting injured than Darrell Williams. And if he gets injured and then you put in Darrell Williams and he gets injured, you don't have anybody else that can play the tackle position. You got Ryan Bates next, who's next in line there. So I kind of like what they're doing. I think that's, are they paying Nsekhe too much? Yeah, because they brought him on to be a starter. That's what they thought that they were going to get out of him. Yeah, but they got something out of Darrell Williams that maybe they didn't expect, and now Nsekhe is a role player of veteran leader and backup for the tackles, and I think that's probably what he should be used as, just because he's a little bit older and he's a big dude. So those big guys and their joints probably aren't doing so well when you get up into that older age there.
For sure. There's 284 people up in here. Wherever you're at, hump the like button. Get our metrics up. Thomas, I don't know if he's responding to us or just in general. Well, I just have a comment because it made my opener, which I'll show again when we close it out. You were forgetting his epic handoff to Singletary in the Broncos game that went for 51 yards. I sped up that tape, and Singletary was still slow.
He's not fast. It was a very smart run though, because he knows he's not fast. So he did a little bit of weaving, and Chris Berman would have been making some fun noises during that run.
Absolutely. So there are 281 people up in here. We've got 10 minutes left. I think it's time. I said I was going to make you do it when you came on.
You did. I was ready from the get-go for this.
Got into a groove. Bills Mafia is bringing it tonight. I love this show, and I love the interaction and the people, and I love the whole thing. I love the vibe and the concept of this show. I love getting to talk about the game last week. I love then transitioning to the game next week. It's just a great place to be. However, you are watching, everybody, the Hump Day Hotline on the Buffalo Fanatics Multicast Network. I'm your host, Joe Miller, and I'm joined by Clay Troya, who is the host of is it the Buffalo Counterpoint? What is it?
Yeah, it's Buffalo. It's written out as Buffalo Football Counterpoint now on Apple and everything. But I just say Buffalo Counterpoint.
I say it every week. If there's a podcast that you need to listen to that's not mine, you need to listen to Clay's, because he brings on a member of the media or alternative media from whoever we're playing against. And it's a great look into an insight into who we're playing and what they think about our team, what they think about their team, blah, 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 blah. But you're watching the Hump Day Hotline. There's 270, 280 people up in here. If you have not jumped on the like yet, hump the like button, get our metrics up. However, this program is brought to you by Manscaped. And with that, I give you the man who should be on the Manscaped payroll, ladies and gentlemen, Clay Troya.
Thank you very much, Joe. And I apologize to those who are regulars on the pregame show as well. Jeff made me jump the gun on this one, but I wrote this for you, Joe, and for the Hump Day Hotline. So for those of you who are going to hear it again, I apologize.
Well, this will be the first time for me. So
yes, yeah. It's got a Christmas theme to it too. So, tis the season. When you look in your pants and your balls are all fluffy, with a girl, you've no chance if you want to get lucky. With the hair on your balls or your shaft or your taint, when a woman sees all, she is certain to faint. And on top of all that, you are still not quite safe, since there's nothing that's worse than when your privates chafe. And besides all the hair on your jingling bells, when your crops hit the air, do they propagate smells? If the answer is yes and the statements are true, then boy, do I have a great deal for you. For at manscaped.com, there are many solutions for the ridding of hair or your body's pollutions. For the chafing and smell, they have lotions and briefs, and the lawnmower too for your overgrown wreath. So go visit the site, use Fanatics to save, and your partner's delight will bring happier days.
Well done. That was definitely Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
So
Shave
good.
your balls.
Shave your balls. And to wrap all that up, and we are not done. We're just wrapping that moment up. Ladies and gentlemen, if you go over to manscaped.com right now and you put in the promo code Fanatics, we're going to give you 20% off of everything and free shipping. And those boxers you see in that picture, I've been a boxer wearer for a very long time. Those are the most comfortable boxers I've ever worn. And I'm now on the replenishment package, which basically means that every 3 months or 2 months, I think I've got it set up at every 2 months, I get 3 more pair. Buy the stuff. The stuff is good. It's legit. So I don't know if have you bought any of it yet?
I have not yet. No, I was waiting till after Christmas just to make sure that no one else went to manscaped.com and used code Fanatics as a gift for me. So
Brian Bowers has a super chat in the queue. So Brian, I know you got a super chat. I'm coming to it. I got to tell this story. So my wife has a women's group where they get together and they talk, stuff. So, and like it was last week, I think was their because they meet every other week. And somehow they got on the topic of husbands. And my daughter, who I've told you guys is a rabid Bills fan, watches this show and she loves your Manscaped spots. She's 13, she's going on 14. She loves your Manscaped spots. So my wife calls my daughter downstairs to basically talk about Manscaped to all the women in the women's group and lets them know that if they put in the promo code Fanatics at manscaped.com that they're going to get 20% off and free shipping on anything that they order. And I'm going to use the word shitting you. I'm not shitting you when I tell you that like several of them went home and ordered stuff for their husbands for Christmas. Like,
well, I'm glad that I could be the inspiration for all these men in Western New York here.
I just don't know that we're getting paid enough.
I don't. We probably aren't. I need to send an email to Manscaped with a highlights clip or something.
With your scripts, bro. Come on now, Brian Bowers, my guy, Brian Bowers. So I want to say this about Brian Bowers. Brian Bowers deserves a show. So like Brian Bowers, he chimes in every single pregame show for me on the Bills Mafia Time to Shine, which is basically an opportunity for Bills Mafia to get in, record their hot take on their phone, email it to me at overreactionsports@gmail.com. I put it on my preview show. Brian, he brings it. He brings it every single week. Brian needs his own show. So if I was one of the people that was in charge of one of these giant networks, I would give Brian a show. He was on with somebody. I think he was on with the Hoof Guys last night, if I'm not mistaken. However, Brian, thank you for the super chat. We have a big problem with how we're going to be able to re-sign Milano and Darrell Williams. We know Tremaine plays his best with Milano next to him, and Darrell Williams has played at a Pro Bowl level. Darrell Williams, and I said it last week, is the unsung hero of this football team. He has quietly gone about being pretty much the best offensive line player that we've had on this team. Milano, to me, there's a lot of guys gone. Nseki's gone next year. Murphy's gone next year. The cap is coming down, which doesn't help. I don't know, man. To me, I'm still probably signing Darrell Williams before Milano. I'd love to see them both in Buffalo for a very long time.
It's hard. I agree that we should be signing Darrell first. If we have the space for Milano, rate him a contract, put a lot of good language in there about injury stuff where he loses money if he's out with injury or something like that. Because it's necessary with a guy he hasn't missed as much time as we think he's missed, but he is always hurt, at least a little bit hurt. It's tough to say. Milano is such a great linebacker, but I think it's easier to immediately replace an outside linebacker as opposed to immediately replace a right tackle. And I've mentioned that before. Tackle is such a hard position to play, especially when you make that jump from the college level to the NFL level. Right. You're playing against you go from playing, some Joe Schmo who's, going to be selling cars in a year. And then next year you're playing against Nick Bosa, Joey Bosa, TJ Watt, JJ Watt, like these massive, Von Miller, Chase Young, these guys are monsters. And so, when you transition from going up against these guys that are not great, maybe you'll play one of these guys once a season, but when you get to the NFL, you're playing guys like that every single week. So it's hard to make that jump at the tackle position. It's easier to replace an outside linebacker for that. We've seen the Bills draft linebackers who have performed well in their rookie year in the past, and I trust anyone in that scouting department for the Bills to replace Milano if they need to do so.
Yeah. And it's true, Elliot, just, it was my women's group. My wife's women's group is a Bible study, which just adds to the funniness of the fact that my daughter's coming down.
The Bible study. How's your husband's balls doing?
As I slam my microphone. How's everybody's husband's balls? It just wasn't appropriate for me to say. Sorry. Anyway, I digress. So we are 1 hour and 27 minutes into this mug. We've lost some folks. It's 228 people left in here. Jump on that like button. Here's the thing. It's Christmas Eve. I can't even believe that people are tuned in. How people aren't at Walmart getting last minute Christmas done. I got to go upstairs and wrap presents after this, man. I'm just in a different world. To me, there's just I've said it all season long, and I started saying it about week 4, that we are literally in wildest dreams land with not only Josh Allen, but this football team. This year was about winning one playoff game. Literally, this year was only about winning a playoff game. And we've got a quarterback that's top 2, top 3 quarterbacks in the NFL, clearly in the MVP conversation. As much as he's probably a long shot, he shouldn't be. We are probably top 2, top 3 NFL football team in the league right now between, the Chiefs, the Packers, and us. Man, it's Christmas, right? We're the AFC East division champions already. We're the number 2 seed. You've got the hat. I hate you. I mean, it's just man, it's just, I don't know if you caught the show that I was on with Pat Moran last night or yesterday. It dropped today. And we talked about just COVID, and we talked about everything that's going on. And I know that I made comments earlier in the year when you and I didn't know each other very well, and you unfollowed me based off of some comments that I made. And I know that I can be somewhat, I can be somewhat of a difficult for people to read on Twitter at times, because I kind of goad people and I like to call out both sides. And I typically call BS where BS is, or it seems to be. But for me, the hope that we have, there's just, I've tossed all of my hope, into Bills Mafia, into this football team right now, right? So for me, there's just a great deal, and I'm living this memory, or I'm living this moment through my daughter's eyes. Does that make sense? And I don't mean to get sappy, but this is what I said on Pat's show. I'm as much as people are asking me how I feel about the Bills being AFC East champions, for me, it's about seeing it through McKenna's eyes, seeing her and how she feels, and the excitement that she has, and the love that she has for this football team. It's just, I can't imagine where we would be right now in Buffalo, New York. And you're in Buffalo. I'm in Buffalo. We're one of the few people that are Bills Mafia content creators in Buffalo. Like a lot of them are in Arizona where the sun is shining every day. A lot of them are, some are in California where the sun is shining every day. The sun doesn't shine here. The Bethlehem Star is out this week for the first time in 500 years. We can't see it, right? Talk to me real quick, if you can, just how this feels for you at Christmas, just with this football team. Just get a little vulnerable with me, if you will, in the last couple minutes of this show.
Yeah, for me, it's tough too, because my dad and I have been season ticket holders for, I think we're going on 12 years at this point. We've been season ticket holders. And we didn't even, I'm not from Buffalo originally. We would drive 2.5 hours. Yeah, I'm from the southern tier, the Corning, Elmira area. So we would drive 2.5 hours to go see at least, 3 or 4 games a season. And then, when I went to college, I would meet up with my dad and, he would drive to the stadium from home. I would drive from college. We would meet up and we would see games together that way. And that was all until he had moved away. He got expated through his job to Asia, so he lived in Taiwan and China for a little while. So for me, it's a weird feeling because everything is finally coming together and culminating into this team that we've been waiting for so long.
Right.
And as a season ticket holder who has now been to a couple 8-season games, last year it was a 10-season game for me. I went to 2 away games.
Nice.
And it feels weird that I can't be there to celebrate it. But at the same time, I'm glad it's happening nonetheless. And because of all the COVID things that are going on, and it's would I love to be in the stadium? Absolutely. But it's not up to us to decide, and that we just had to deal with whatever it was that we had to go through. And it has been tough, but the Bills have been the one bright spot in everything that has been bad so far. And honestly, I just can't wait. I hope Cuomo allows some fans into the stadium. I'm at the point now where it can be done safely. Before it was, we needed more information still. And now we're at the point where other teams have done it safely. We know it can be done. Let some people in. The fans need to be there to witness this moment. And as someone that has never seen the Bills good like this before, it feels weird that I watched them live in the stadium play badly for so long. And now that they're good, I can't go watch them anymore.
Yeah, it's definitely strange. I just want all of Bills Mafia to understand that we are family and we are united together. And that team plays for us probably more so than any other football team plays for its community. It's just different for us because every slight against the team is a slight against this city and is a slight against us as people who live in this city. And this Christmas, it's just a wonderful opportunity that I want people to just soak in and take in and just cherish, right? Literally go back and Google and watch all the highlights from this season so far. Like, just smile and enjoy it because you're watching something that we've not seen in a very, very, very long time. Some of you, Clay, never before. And it's something that's not necessarily going to go away anytime soon. Like, they're building something here and they've built something. And I just love what's going on. I love the unity. I still believe the best is yet to come, not only for this country, but for, Bills Mafia and for this football team. So if I'm getting sappy, it's Christmas. It is what it is. So Elliot, dude, for those of you that don't know, Elliot's the man. Elliot's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for the super chat. Merry Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Bills Mafia and the Buffalo Fanatics. Much love to y'all. Love Elliot and the guys at Propaganda. I think that's his band. So Elliot's a musician, as am I. But I just love, I don't know, 'tis the season to love. And love is not necessarily the easiest thing for me. I'm a little more of I don't know what the word is, an achiever, an INTJ. I'm an Enneagram 8, if you know anything about personality.
Yes, of course. Mm-hmm.
Are you saying that for real? Or are you like?
No. I actually, I've done the test like 4 times throughout the past 6 years, and I've tested something different every time. So
we can talk about it. The trick to taking those tests is answering natively. So the first answer you had, like the immediate, like, this is how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
You talk yourself into other answers, and it skews the test.
Yeah.
But I'm just excited for what we've got going on. I'm excited for what we have in front of us, even if we don't go to the Super Bowl. This has been just such an awesome experience. The connection that we've had with people, the connection that we've made with people, you coming on board, me coming on board, like it's just been a great year. It's just been a fantastic year, and it's Christmas, and I guess I'm done being sappy and emotional without, I don't cry, so I'm not going to cry, but yeah.
And thank you as well for, having the confidence in me. You've had nothing but kind words to say about me, and I appreciate that. We are probably two of the most different people, which is why I love this show so much, is because, politically, and we're on opposite ends politically. We're at two different age ranges. We're in two different generations. But we're Bills fans. And so, being Bills fans can bring you together, and we actually share a lot of the same opinions when it comes to Bills. It's not often that we disagree on something. It's fun when we do, because I like to argue with you about it. But, but I mean, it is pretty awesome to be able to see that, it doesn't matter how different you might be as a person, Bills fandom can bring people together. And that's just a really special thing.
Yeah. Final closing thing. Score prediction for the football game.
I said it on my podcast. I can't remember what I said. I said something like 32-17 or 31-17 Bills.
Very good. I think the Bills are going to smoke the Patriots 35-10. And that's probably a pipe dream, but I think the Bills smoke the Patriots this week 35-10.
I mean, 31-17 is smoking them for me. That I'd be very happy with that score.
Yeah, I'm excited for this football game. But ladies and gentlemen, you've been watching the Hump Day Hotline on the Buffalo Fanatics Multicast Network. I'm your host, Joe Miller. You can find me on Twitter at Joe Miller Wired. I'm the host of the Overreaction Podcast, also on the Buffalo Fanatics Podcast Network. That is my co-host tonight. Go ahead, Clay. Tell them where they can find you.
I'm Clay Troya. You can find me on Twitter at Clay Troya. Come follow me and talk Bills with me. I'm always tweeting about stuff over there. I also have a podcast, the Buffalo Counterpoint Podcast. You can find that on the Buffalo Fanatics Podcast Network, as well as on its own RSS feed, anywhere you can find a podcast, Apple, Spotify, all that good stuff. Where, as Joe said earlier, I try to bring on someone every week from the opposing fan base or media, and we talk a little bit about the game that's coming up. So next week, hoping to have a familiar face for some of you Fanatics guys, since we're playing the Dolphins next week.
Kevin.
So,
yep, Kevin.
That's who I'm asking for. I haven't asked him yet, but hopefully he's available, because it would be great to have him on. Look out for that, and go Bills, man. I'm excited. I feel so good right now.
One last thing. I gave you a banner. Where's your banner?
It's Christmas. Can I put my Bills tree in the background? It's Bills themed. It's got all Bills ornaments. It's a blue tree with red and white lights. What do you want? This is Christmas right here.
The bosses weren't in tonight, but if they were in, I would have to let them know that that's a demerit.
Come on.
I'm just kidding. That's awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for being a part of the show. We went really long tonight, but it was awesome. You guys brought the energy and brought the fun. I love y'all. Say Merry Christmas, Clay.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas,
Happy
everybody.
holidays. Stay safe and healthy.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.